1971 to 1974. Strat-O-Matic Excel Carryover League. Brought to you by the Shrimp Trawler.
Game 1, Astros at Reds.
Welcome back, baseball fans. It's back. Baseball in the 71-74 carryover league is back. It is opening day. Today we have a game between the Houston Astros and your world champion Cincinnati Reds, winners of the 1970-73 carryover league World Series. They beat Oakland in 7 games. And they are here today in Cincinnati enjoying opening day and getting their World Series rings and trophies and all that kind of fun stuff. To the victors go the spoils. And that means that every off-season we change the color scheme to match the team who won it all at their discretion. So you see it's like the Reds all over the place here. And this font is I believe the Cincinnati Reds font I found online, or something that looks like the Cincinnati Reds font found online. In any event, it is opening day today. The Houston Astros are the visitors. They had a nice year a year ago. They got knocked out in the wild card round. Today's starting pitchers for the Astros, it'll be Larry Dierker for Houston. And for the Reds, it'll be Don Gullett, the opening day assignment. Let's get started. We're going to hit an old recalculate down here for a little bit. And you see the numbers are going through. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Boom! And there we go. Joe Morgan leading off for the Astros. 1-5 against the lefty. Double one. Single dot dot. He is on with the base hit. And oh boy. We got Double-A Joe Morgan at first and his future teammate Johnny Bench with a -4 arm behind the plate. Let's just see what happens here. Dennis Menke batting second. Walks a lot. 2-4. Center B question mark. Batting third, it'll be Bob Watson. 5-10 for Watson. Catcher's card. That's Bench, of course, and it's a 1-9. You can get a foul out here, which might be bad news. That means it keeps the plus in play as you're holding Morgan at first, unless Morgan decides to steal. But not in front of another on-base machine, Jimmy Wynn, batting cleanup, who walks a lot. So Morgan will stay at first. 2-6. And that is a base hit. It's ground ball short on a plus. Runners being held, you hit the plus single. This is where the foul out backfired. If you had a pass ball or a wild pitch, the inning would be over. But you have runners on the corners with 2 outs. And you have Cesar Cedeno. 47 off of Gullett, flies to center field. And now the Cincinnati Reds, pretty much the same lineup a year ago with almost brand new cards throughout the lineup, because the 70 red cards are no longer here. Bobby Tolan will lead off. 111 is hit by the pitch. He is a Double-A stealer. But Dick Billings, catching for Houston's a -1 arm, and just like that, Tolan's going to take off, and he's going to be out on an 18. We don't have the first stolen base of 1970, 1-4. So Pete Rose will bat with 1 out. 6-10 off Dierker is catcher's card. Again, Billings, a 3-16. And you get an error off an E16 catcher. That's about right. Rose is a C stealer. He's not going anywhere. It'll be Tony Perez, 68. Single 1-7 off Dierker. Gets the single. 2 on. 1 out for Johnny Bench. 45. He strikes out. And with 2 outs, it'll be Lee May. 46 for Lee May, second X. This is Morgan. It's a 2E12 at second base. And the inning's over. We go to the top of the second. We are playing, by the way, as you'll see them flashed up, all first edition Strat cards from 71 to 74, so they didn't have E ratings on them, of course. So they were calculated and then placed into this column here. So I'll have to look at all E ratings off of this spreadsheet. There's nothing written on the cards. Top of the second, and it's Jose Cruz. 2-2. Rounds the third. Danny Cater, 66. Double on a 5, base hit. Doug Rader, 2-8. Oh boy. Homer, 1-16. Fly ball the rest, and that is gone. And Doug Rader drives in Danny Cater for the first 2 runs of 2023. 2-0 Astros. Dick Billings. 1-9's a strikeout. And Joe Morgan, 53, rolls to the pitcher. Bottom of the second, it'll be Gale Hopkins, 48, 1-1, base hit. That's a new player, Gale Hopkins, the new DH. Cesar Geronimo, 5'10", center X, the rookie Geronimo. Well, he's not a rookie. It's his first year in Strat for the Reds, though. Center field, Cedeno's a 1-8. And Cedeno error. And suddenly, errors in the first 2 innings. 2 of them thus far for the visitors. Second and third, nobody out. And it's Concepcion. They'll play back. 65 off Durkers, a pop to short. With a 2-0 lead, they'll play back for Jim Stewart, the utility player. 58, pops to first. And with 2 outs, it's going to be Bobby Tolan of the Bells. 58, same thing, pops to first. We go to the third. Dennis Mankey. 1-7 is a walk. Bob Watson, 1-8 is a sky to center field. The Toy Cannon, Jim Wynn, 5'10 catcher's card. This is a bench, 29. Another foul out. So Mankey has to stay at first. For Cedeno, 49, pops to first. Bottom of the third, it'll be Pete Rose. 68, base hit off Durker. And it'll be Tony Perez. 1-8 is a strikeout. Last year that would have been a single. Johnny Bench, 57 is a K, and with 2 outs, it's Lee May. 2-7, let's take a look at the Lee May card. He was one of the heroes last year with a 8th inning homer in Game 7 that tied things up. 2-7, double 1-6, single the rest, and that's going to be a double. Second and third, 2 outs for Gale Hopkins. 45 off Durker is short X, shortstop. Today is Mankey, who's not as good as he used to be. He's a 40-48 shortstop, and that is an error. And the Reds are on the board with, you guessed it, the third error in 3 innings. Runners in the corners, 2 outs for Cesar Geronimo. 1-11, grounds to second. 2-1 game. We go to the fourth. It's Jose Cruz. 2-6, grounds the first. Danny Cater, newest Astro, 5'4", flies to right. And Doug Rader, 1-9. Let's take a look at the Doug Rader card. He homered earlier on 2-8, homer 1-16, and on 1-9, he grabs a walk. He was one of the Astro players they improved in the offseason, making him a 2 third baseman to now a 1 third baseman and a Gold Glove. 2 outs, a man on for Dick Billings. 1-5, Dick Billings hits his card. Homer 1-6, fly ball the rest. And just like that, Don Gullett surrenders another 2-run homer to the bottom 2 hitters in the Astro lineup. 1-5, 1-1. That's going to be a homer for everybody with that card. 4-1, Astros. Joe Morgan. 2-10 for Morgan. Let's take a look at Joe Morgan's card. His last Astro card, and we'll do the big trade between these 2 teams in the offseason. Joe Morgan will eventually be a Red next year. It's good to know that the Reds have won a World Series without needing Joe Morgan. They won it with Tommy Helms at second base, changing history a little bit. So that's kind of cool. Joe Morgan, 210, homer 1-4, double. That's a 2-base hit. Dennis Mankey, 66. Off of Gullett, double 1-5, single. RBI single, it's 5-1. Bob Watson, 1-7 is a K. The Astros come up with some big hits and have not been retired 3 up and 3 down in this game. Bottom of the fourth, it's Concepcion, 39, bounce to short. Jim Stewart, 58, pops to first. With 2 outs, it's Bobby Tolman. 1-7 is a K. Durker settles down the Reds. Yeah, the Astros really have only 2 more batters through 4 innings, but 4 more runs as the Reds have stranded guys. Jim Wynn leading off in the top of the 5th. 6'11", left X. This is Pete Rose is now in left field. Bernie Carbo was let go in the offseason. Rose is a 1-3 in left field. He makes the grab. He goes from right field to left field. Tolan goes from center to right field, and Geronimo emerges in center field. Cesar Cedeno, 2-4, grounds a short. Jose Cruz, 37, is a walk. And with 2 outs, Danny Cater. 63 off of Gullett, first X. And Lee Mays a 3-9 at first. And he's going to make an error there. And here come the Astros again. 2 on, 2 outs for Doug Rader. 3-10, flies to left. 5-1 game going to the bottom half of the 5th. Let's pause a moment for station identification.
This is the Shrimp Trawler video channel.
Este es el canal de videos de camaroneros.
Okay, Pete Rose will lead it off. 47 is a walk. Tony Perez, 47 against the righty, it's a strikeout. Johnny Bench, 43, short X. This is, again, it's Menke, a 40-48. That's short. Normally, Metzger's on the bench today. But they like to get Menke in the lineup somewhere, and today they chose shortstop. They get a ground ball city, so it gets a glove on it. Rose moves up to second with 2 outs, and it's Lee May. 2-9 hits his column again. 2-9 is a base hit into right field. You know, Rose is motoring around, even though he's down a bunch of runs. He's a 16 runner, 16, 17, 18 against the -2 Arma Cruz, makes it a 16 to score, and he scores in the 13. We got a 5-2 game. Gail Hopkins, a free agent signing in the offseason out of the Kansas City organization. Gail Hopkins. 57 is a sky to center. 5-2, we go to the 6th. It's Dick Billings. 1-4, flies to center. Joe Morgan, 54, pops to short. Dennis Menke, 45, rolls to second. Bottom of the 6th. It is Cesar Geronimo. 5-12, flies to right. Dave Concepcion. 2-10, let's take a look at Dave Concepcion's card of 1973. First year we really put everything together. The glove, some power, batting average, some base stealing, 287 hitter. One of his better years. 210 against the righty, automatically gone. And we got a 2-run game here. A solo homer. 5-3. Jim Stewart. 4-4. Short X. Again, Menke. And that's going to be a single. Probably should have brought Metzger in for defense at this point with the lead, but they did not do that. And now the Reds will send a tie run to the plate in the 6th inning of a 5-3 game. It's Bobby Tolan of the Bells. 37 for Tolan as a walk. And here we go with the Reds. They have 2 on and 1 out. And it's Pete Rose. 38, let's take a look at Pete Rose's card because he's your 1973 National League Most Valuable Player. We finally got this card. We didn't want to get it last year because we liked his 69 and 70 cards. He had more power, drew more walks, hit less singles, and was a better base stealer and a better throwing arm. But he's still the MVP of 1973. And 3-8 is ball 4. So that will load the bases, oh boy, with 1 out for Tony Perez. The pitch to Tony. 65 off Durker's a pop to short. Here we go, folks. Bases loaded. 2 outs. Johnny Bench, your 1972 National League Most Valuable Players at the plate. Here's the pitch to Johnny. 1-4 is a roller to third. It stays 5-3. Durker takes a deep breath as he goes to the dugout. Top of the 7th of a 5-3 opener. And it'll be Bob Watson. Gullett's a starter 7, Durker's a starter 8. Bob Watson. 211. Rolls the third. The toy cannon, Jim Wynn, 3-6 is a walk. Beast Stealer, he'll be held on base for Cedeno. 6-11, left X. Left fielder is Jim Wynn, a 3E3 in left field, and it's going to be, oh, I'm sorry, left field is Pete Rose. I'm sorry, he's a 1. Sorry about that, I mixed that up. Astros are at the plate, and I looked at the wrong guys there. 2 outs, man at first for Jose Cruz. 64 off Gullet. Hits the column. It's homer, 1-2-3 double. Misses the homer. Cruz will settle for the double. Jim Wynn, he'll have to advance against Geronimo. He's a 15, 16, 17. Way to hold it. Maybe not. Geronimo's got a -4 arm. And my road team rule is you need a 14 to score to advance on a throw for road teams. We don't got a 14. We don't have it. Wynn does not get that. He's Wynn is a 15 runner. So 16, 17, but you take the -4. Geronimo makes it a 13. So he jams on the brakes at third. So you have second and third with 2 outs. And Danny Cater is at the plate. 54 off Gullet is a fly ball to right field. Stretch time in Cincinnati for the opener of the season. We are enjoying Ohio Legends, Isley Brothers, 1974 LP, Live It Up. They were the soundtrack last year in the championship run. All sorts of an extensive discography for them. Bottom of the 7th, Durker. We're going to help Durker out, though. We are getting Mankey out of there. That has been a mess. Let's see. They can actually move Mankey over to first base where he's a 2. That's what they'll do. They'll move him over to first where he's a 2. And we'll get Cater out of there. We don't need him anymore. And we'll put Metzger at shortstop in that spot. So now you got a 2 at first instead of a 3. And you've got a 1 at shortstop instead of a 4E48. That should help Durker if he gives up some ground balls. Bottom of the 7th of a 5-3 thriller. Here is Lee May leading it off. 1-6 is a K. Gale Hopkins, 58 off Durker, pops to first. And with 2 outs, it is Geronimo. 2-10 for Geronimo. Let's take a look at Cesar's card of 84. It's 84, 74. Geronimo, this really was his first big year with the stick. He had struggled in 70, 71, 72, but 3 and 4, he does it. And this is the year they finally waited on to get him into the carryover league. A 281 batting average, plus the great range and arm, and a C stealer. 210 off his card, homer, 1-11 double, and it is a 20. It is a double. Misses the solo shot. And it's Dave Concepcion who homered his last at bat. The pitch to Dave. 6-12 off Durker, second X. This is Joe Morgan, a 2E12. And he makes the play. Boy, the Reds could be shooting themselves. They have been gifts. They've gotten 1, 2, 3 errors in the first 3 innings. They didn't do anything with it. So we'll go to the 8th inning of a 5-3 game. Gullet. How far do we want to go with him on opening day? I think as you put 2 guys on and giving up 5 runs, we're going to take him out. I'm going to take Gullet out after 7. Get a righty in there. I want to go Wayne Granger. We are Sparky, and we have a bullpen, a very big one. We got Bourbon, Granger, Jim Strickland. We signed away from the Twins, and Clay Carroll. So we're going to go Wayne Granger in the 8th against Doug Rader, who's 1 for 2 plus a walk. 52 off Granger, flies to left field. Dick Billings. We will have a pinch hitter because John Edwards is the regular catcher and he's a little slightly better defensive player. John Edwards, 38. It's a fly ball to center field. And with 2 outs, back up top to Joe Morgan. 65. This is off the Granger card. It is homer, 1-15, double the rest. And he missed it. He rolled a 16. Bounces off the top of the wall. That's a double. And a tough break for the Astros there. They miss a homer 1 of 15 chance. And it's up to Dennis Menke with 2 outs. And they could throw one more switch here. Use the last player on the bench. And they will. They're going to have Joe Haig pinch hit. Joe Haig actually was a Red in 72. 243 hitter with 7 home runs and 200 and some at bats. But he's got the power. He's a left-hander. And has a higher batting average than Menke. Also, he'll be the new first baseman, and he's a better defensive first baseman than Menke as well. So here's the pitch to Joe Haig from Granger. 35 is a fly ball to center field. They leave the runner. They've emptied the bench. They've left the runner. Durker with a 2-run lead in the 8th. He's a starter 8. Their bullpen is not the greatest, and Durker is a long-distance guy, so we will leave him in there until he hits his point of weakness, we think. So, leading off in the bottom of the 8th, on the Red bench, you got Tommy Helms, Ken Suarez, John Vukovic. Not a great bench, but the Reds seldom use it anyway. Jim Stewart, leading off, 410. 410, Jim Stewart. If you have power, it's a solo homer off the Durker card. He does not have power, so it's a single. And if you're wondering, they don't have a lefty on the bench to make that a homer. So now you have Bob Tolan. You do the same thing to this guy, we got a tie game. So Stewart will stay at first for Bobby Tolan. 210 Tolan. Oh no, not the right card. It's ground ball pitcher A. A 1-6-3 double play by Bobby Tolan. And with 2 outs, it'll be Pete Rose. 58 off Durker is a pop to first. And he's been hanging in there all day, Mr. Durker. He's been putting guys on. Both teams have been putting guys on every inning. We only have 1 3-up and 3-down inning in this contest. We'll go to the 9th. Because it's opening day, we'll don't want to wear our bullpen out this soon. We'll switch up to another pitcher. We'll go Pedro Borbon in the 9th for the Reds. It'll be Bob Watson leading off. 2-5 for Bob Watson. His 1-1, single the rest. It's a base hit for Bob Watson. Jimmy Wynn, he is 1 for 2 plus a walk. 1-9, there's another walk. He only had 108 of those, 74. 2 on, nobody out. Bourbon's in trouble, and here is Cesar Cedeno. 48 is single 1 to 13 off the Bourbon card. It is a base hit, and they're loaded, and this is not what the Reds were thinking of when they made the pitching change. You got Cruz, Metzger. Bourbon is better against lefties slightly. They're going to bring the infield up. They can get a 4-2-3 double play here. So they're going to bring the infield up for Jose Cruz. And here is the pitch. 1-9 for Cruz is off his card. Double 1-19, and that is a 2-base hit. And this thing's getting away from the Reds here in the 9th. It is now 7-3. Second and third, Metzger and 8 bunter. They got to bring the infield up for Metzger. 57 off Bourbon is a K. He finally records an out. Doug Rader, got to keep the infield up. Can't let the runner from third to score. 3-8 is a base hit off the radar card because he had the infield up. A 2-run single, just like that. It is a gray day here in Cincinnati as the world champs have fallen on their face a bit here. They are down 9-3 in the 9th. And what was once a promising day has turned bad in a hurry. Johnny Edwards, 34, is a fielder's choice. And with 2 outs, it's Joe Morgan. 48 for Morgan, single 1 to 5. He cannot get it. 9-3 in the bottom of the 9th inning. I have no real reason to leave Durker in there at this point for a cheap complete game. He's getting up 3 runs. We'll turn this thing over to Denny LeMaster in the 9th. Get somebody else in there. Get some work done. With a 6-run lead and all the defense in there. It'll be Tony Perez. 45. Homer 1 to 4 double. That's a 2-base hit. Runner at second for Johnny Bench. 66 is a liner to first. Lee May. 2-6 for Lee May. He hit his column. 2-6 is homer 1 to 17 double. And that is gone. A 2-run blast for Lee May, and we get to a grand slam. It's 9-5. Batting for Gale Hopkins. We'll go to John Vukovic. We'll bat for him. Has power on his card against lefties. The pitch to Vukovic. 2-7 is a single to left field. Vukovic is on. He'll be the new third baseman. Perez will move to DH. Runner at first, 1 out, and a 4-run deficit in Cesar Geronimo. Against the lefty, Geronimo, 66. Off Lemaster is a fly ball to right. And with 2 outs, Concepcion, 42 off Lemaster, rolls to the mound, and there it is, your final. It is a 9-5 victory for the Astros on opening day, game number 1 of the season. First opening day, first baseball game of 2023. And the Reds fall on themselves a little bit. Too much celebrating, I guess. Lemaster in the 9th inning gives up 3 hits and 2 runs. Jerker had a good enough day. Wasn't a sparkling day. His defense let him down, but he pitched out of it. Only gave up to 3 runs, and 2 of those were earned. Left the bases loaded in the 6th. I thought it was a nice move. Left a couple guys on in the 1st, 2nd, and 3rd innings as well. Jerker walks 4, strikes out 6. Bourbon in the 9th would like to forget that ever happened. The 9th inning for Pedro Bourbon is 1, 2, 3, 4 hits and 4 runs, a walk, and a K. That's going to make it hard to win the Rolaids Relief Man of the Year award when you give up a 4-burger in just 1 frame. But who knows? It's a long season. We're just getting it started, folks. Wayne Granger, a hit. And Don Gullett will take a loss here. Gave up 8 hits and 5 runs. But it was all earned, and it was the long ball that did him in. 4 walks and a couple strikeouts. 1009, 0109, 913, 512. 913, 512, 53, 46, 46, 53. That is game 1. Houston at Cincinnati. And we will plug in the new first official box of the year. And we can look at the year-to-date totals, which are always humorous to do on opening day. We'll notice the Cincinnati Reds are hitting 300, but they have a team ERA of 9. I'm going to guess the Astros is close to 5. The Astros, or 4, one of those runs was been unearned. Yeah, 317 batting average, ERA of 4. And just like that, on opening day, the league is hitting 309 with a 650 league ERA. Oh my goodness, folks, that's ridiculous. I'm going to have to quit what I'm doing and do something else. You can't have a league with a 650 league ERA. That's it today from Cincinnati. We'll give you the results of this series at the end of the video. It is a best of 5, games 1 and 2 in Cincinnati, 3 and 4 if necessary in Houston, game 5 back in Cincinnati. We'll see you then. Well, folks, here's the box score for game 1, where you saw the Astros pull the road upset on opening day, winning 9-5. So do the Reds even this thing up at home in game number 2. Let's go take a look at that. Game 2, Ken Forsch for the Astros, Gary Nolan, big World Series a year ago for the Reds. Starts with a lot of offense, then it pitters out. Top of the first inning, you have an RBI single by Cedeno, RBI triple by Cruz, 2-zip. Bottom of the frame, an error by Roger Metzger, of all people, the Gold Glove shortstop. A single, then after 2 outs, you get Lee Red Hot May, basically the offense of the Reds at this point. A 2-out, 3-run homer, 3 unearned runs. It's 3-2. A couple of doubles in a second. Tolan gets an RBI double. It's 4-2. You get a Johnny Bench RBI double. It is 5-2. And that is it, folks. So Nolan goes 8. Clay Carroll keeps his regular season scoreless streak continuing. Didn't allow a run last year until the playoffs. Gets the save. A 5-2 victory. Yes, your Cincinnati Reds have evened the series. Game apiece. We go to the Astrodome for game number 3. Couple lefties. Ross Grimsley for the Reds. Gary Peters acquired in the offseason by Houston. And this one, both pitchers bailed after 6 frames, giving up 3 base runners in the 6th of a 3-3 tie. The Reds got their 3 runs. A 2-run homer by who else? Lee May. And an RBI ground out by Helms. Astros got their 3 runs, an RBI single by Dick Billings, and another 2-run single by the same guy, Dick Billings, all the offense. It stays 3-3. Bullpens get emptied. Jim Ray, 2 solid innings. Pedro Rabone, 2 solid innings. Both teams match each other, bringing lefties in. Mike Cosgrove, 2 shutout innings in the 9th and 10th. Jim Strickland for the Reds runs into the trouble in the bottom of the 10th inning. A double by Bob Watson, pinch runner Roger Metzger, and then an RBI double by Cedeno with 2 outs. Astros walk off Game 3 in the 10th, 4-3. Can the Reds answer, even this thing up, and bring the series back to Riverfront Stadium? And the answer is no, they can't do it. Game 4. The Reds, they went back to the American League looking for a pitcher to pitch on 3 days rest. Last year it was Dick Bosman. It was a 1-year deal and they let him go. Helped him win a World Series. This year they got Steve Busby out of Kansas City. And they said, you're going to be the guy pitching on 3 days rest that we have to import until Billingham arrives. So Steve Busby versus big game Bob Johnson. Both pitchers are new to these teams. And Bob Johnson has a day, folks. 8 innings, 8 hits, 2 runs. It's a 2-run homer by Johnny Bench in the first inning. Busby just puts too many men on base. Ground out RBI in the first, 2-run homer by Jim Wood in the second, solo shot by Cedeno. That's all they really needed. Basically, Busby pitched out of a lot of jams, to his credit. 5 2/3 innings, though, 8 hits, 4 runs, and 6 walks. Granger did well in relief, as did Clay Carroll. In the 9th inning of a 4-2 affair, Houston goes to their new closer, Frank Lindsay. He gets a ground out by Geronimo. Pinch hitter Bobby Tolan grounds out, and with 2 outs, Jim Stewart strikes out to end the game. Astros win Game 4 by a score of 4-2. They have won this series 3-1. Break up your Houston Astros, knocking off the world champs to start 2023. Is that what this new year is going to be? Is it going to be an upset from what happened a year ago? Tune in and we'll find out. Thanks for checking in, folks. We'll see you next time.